Welcome to a Homstear Pacetti Realty Network, Mastering Real Estate training event.
You know, it seems you can't turn on the TV set anymore without being blasted by infomercials touting every get-rich scheme under the sun. When you're faced with so many money-making options, which program do you choose? And how do you know what system will work for you? Sometimes it's hard to tell. And if you're like me, all those different programs just seem to blend together. The infomercials give way to information overload. Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck on a two-rut road on the information superhighway. And you know, we could all use a good road map now and then to help point the way. Hi, I'm Maurice Sterling. I'm a public manager, a part-time cattle rancher, and a real estate investor. And this is Rebel Yell. I call her Rebby, and she's the one you'd probably rather get to know anyway. She's a registered American quarter horse, and she can gallop as fast as the wind. Reb's joined me here on my family ranch to help me introduce a powerful wealth-building business opportunity you'll not want to miss. Over the next few minutes, you're going to hear about a plan that can help you chart a path to financial freedom. Now, I'm not talking about some get-rich-quick scheme. Real estate investing doesn't work that way. Real estate is a solid investment vehicle that, if used skillfully and consistently, can, over time, create cash flow and substantial wealth. It's my pleasure to introduce the creator of some truly powerful investment techniques. Meet Terry Pacetti as he shares the concepts of the 10-10 plan for real estate investing. But first, let me just warn you, when you get to know us a little better, you'll see that Terry and I are the unlikeliest of bedfellows. You may wonder what in the world the two of us even have in common. Terry Pacetti is a lifelong real estate broker and successful land developer. He's a mortgage broker, auctioneer, civic leader, and a published author of several how-to books on creative real estate investing. He's also my business partner, in some ways my mentor, and always my friend. Now, if you're the slightest bit curious to find out what a career government bureaucrat turned cattle rancher like me and a lifelong real estate specialist like Terry Pacetti can teach you about the exciting and lucrative field of real estate investing, stay tuned as Terry Pacetti describes how you can unleash the power of the 10-10 plan to unlock your fortune in real estate foreclosures and distressed properties. You may find, as I discovered, that this is just the opportunity you've been looking for.
Everyone thinks about their financial future. Where are you now? Where would you like to be? Homestear Realty Network can help you reach a higher financial orbit with their 10-10 plan. Here's a program that can start you on your way to financial freedom. Here's Mr. Real Estate, Terry Pacetti, to show you how you can retire in just 10 years with $10,000 or more per month for life.
Thank you, Maurice. It's such a pleasure to work with you, and you've been such a blessing to me and my family, and I'm so very grateful to you. Folks, let me tell you just a little bit about who Maurice Sterling is. Maurice is a 24-year veteran of a management position that is an envious position for most of us. He and his wife have a cattle ranch and their son David, and Maurice has come to us as a friend when we first started this and has become a business associate and a long-time true help in this business. We wouldn't be where we are today with this program if it wasn't for my good friend Maurice Sterling. So Maurice, again, I thank you so kindly, and as you folks get to know him better, you're also going to love him and appreciate him. He is the ultimate manager, which was a huge help for us. So Maurice, we love you and we thank you so very, very much. Folks, I'm going to introduce to you today the 10-10 plan. The 10-10 plan is a plan that will change your whole financial world. It can lift your lid. It'll do things for you that if you're like my family was, it'll help you tremendously. It'll break the spirit of poverty off of your family and last you for a long time. Let me just tell you a little bit about my real estate experience and background so you'll have some idea of who you're dealing with. Number one, my name is Terry Pacetti, and I'm married to Joyce Pacetti, and we've invited you into our home today, so you're here in our living room, and we appreciate the fact that you're here, and we hope that you enjoy your stay with us. Now, in 1965, at age 24, I began my real estate career as a real estate agent. I went to work for a man, and I was blessed to be able to work for somebody that really knew the business. Now, most of you probably that see this tape won't know much about St. Johns County, Florida, which is Saint Augustine, which is the oldest city in the United States, and it's something that we're holding in trust for you. If you haven't been here to see it and participate in it, you need to come, and we would certainly welcome you. The business in 1964 was almost non-existent when I got this real estate license at this very young age. Mr. Ed Overby was my mentor, and he has now passed on, but he did a tremendous amount to change my life. Over the years, the education and the training that he gave me has done a tremendous amount for myself and my family. My 87-year young mother works with us every day. She's down in the real estate office. She's a real estate broker, and she's just done an incredible job. I have an opportunity to work with two of my sisters on a daily basis that work with us in the real estate business. My two brothers have their own real estate companies, and I'm so very proud of them. But it all came from the introduction from Mr. Overby. So I just want you to know that when you start planting these seeds, they will grow. And the more you nurture them and the more you water them and fertilize them, the better it gets. So that's what we want to talk about today, is how we can develop the 10-10 plan for you that will allow you to have much success that you may have not ever dreamed of. So let's do it today. Everybody can do this, and so I want you to understand that this plan is not a respecter of persons. It doesn't limit anybody, and it can involve you and your family. I'm blessed every day of my life to wake up and be able to go to work with all four of my children. I have a 39-year-old son and a 36-year-old daughter. Son is Chuck, and Susie is my 36-year-old daughter. Her husband, Jimmy, he's in business with us. My daughter, Cassie, who is married to a wonderful guy named Wayne, and they have a beautiful little baby doll named Ronnie. And so we're just blessed. Chuck has a gorgeous little 10-year-old daughter named Crystal, and my little grandson named Christian, who is 2 years old, and Jimmy and Sue have a daughter named Patty and have a grandbaby named Donovan. And so we're just a blessed family, and I want to tell you that this can be a family business, but it can be done by yourself or with friends or just however you want to do it. But it does work, and I want you to see how you can pass this along to make this work for you. Now, what the 10-10 plan means, what does that mean? Well, here's what it is. If you buy 10 houses and pay for them in 10 years, you can retire with a $10,000 a month income. If you want to make more, you can make more. If you want to make less, you can make less. We want to explain to you the concept of buying and keeping real estate for the long haul. Now, we don't mean that you keep every property that you buy, and that's not part of the plan, and we're going to help you to discern the difference about what to buy, what to hold, what to buy, what to sell, and so that this business becomes a reality to you. So the concept is we're going to buy 10 good houses, we're going to pay for them in 10 years, and we're going to retire with a $10,000 a month income, and we're going to become multi-millionaires, and we're going to do it with little or none of your own money. We're going to do it with little or none of your own credit. We're going to do it no matter who you are and what your circumstances are. It doesn't matter if you filed bankruptcy yesterday. It doesn't matter if you're dead flat broke today. Now, it certainly is easier for people to have some money and have good credit, but it's not an impossibility for anybody. And I want you today to become part of the impossible dream, a dream that maybe you thought was impossible for you and your family. And I want you to see the direct benefit and the result of this in your family. That's my dream, and I'm going to dream big with you because I want your dream to be commensurate with mine. I want us to join together as a team for the future planning of your family and your future financial futures. Now, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. When I started in this business in 1965, and when I was born in this world in 1940, we were as poor could possibly get. I was 12 or 13 years old before we had electricity or running water in the house. My only reason for relating the story to you is because I want to give credit today where credit's due. And the credit is due to my mother and my father. We were a very close family. My dad's passed away, but my mother's here, and she's, as I say, she's done the office working every day, and she helped us tremendously, and she's been a giver all her life. Just to give an example of how this works and how it can work for you. And I wish somebody would have taught me this course years ago. I tell everybody, you know, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but it's true. Your education, the education that I'm going to give you on this tape, has cost me millions of dollars to learn and gather the information and to be able to utilize it for your benefit so that you can learn from my experiences. On the inception of the tape, it called me Mr. Real Estate. It probably could have called me Mr. Real Estate Mistake because of all the mistakes I made in the process of learning the things that we've learned. I realize today how powerful a training program and how powerful a mentor is and how powerful to associate yourself with people that know things that you don't know and how they can inspire you and how I'm inspired by everything I learn and everything I see. And I'm excited, as you can tell, by the very nature of this business. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I have the 4 children. Each one of them are buying their own properties. As a company, as a business, we buy and sell properties consistently. We're all realtors. I've been, a realtor since 1965. Chuck is a realtor, real estate broker. Suzanne's a realtor and real estate broker, and Cassie and Cheyenne are realtors, and we work together, as I say, on a daily basis. But the thing that we've learned over my career, that I've learned especially, is that had I been smart early on in my career, I've developed subdivisions, I've built houses, I'm a mortgage broker, I'm an auctioneer, I'm all these things. But had I been smart early on in my life, I truly believe that today we could have been as rich as anybody in America. Now, let me just say this to you, so I want you to get this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I want to relate to you. I want to get down in your heart. I want you to believe this for you and for your family. I want you to see the lids of your life raised, and I want to see it change, and I want us to be able to come back together on a periodic basis for continued education and to share some things that maybe we've learned. Maybe you've had some experiences that we didn't have, that we have this opportunity to share this. So I want to just continue on with this, but I want to build your dream. I want to see you be able to do anything in this world that you want to do. I want you to be able to go any place that you want to go. I want you to be able to take your family. I don't want the job, your job, to be able to hold you back for the rest of your life and deter you from the things that would mean so much to you. As you can tell, I'm so excited about this, and I'm going to relate a couple of examples to you that I remember just off the top of my head that may really help you. About 5 years ago, all 4 of my children were advised to buy some condos. They had some condos for sale that were very reasonable and backed up on the water and had boat docks and so forth. So the oldest 2, Suzanne and Chuck, each one bought one. Cassie bought one, and then Chuck and Suzanne bought one together that they used for rental property. At the time when they bought these, they actually resided in them and lived in them, and so regardless of the increase in value, we realized that they would probably be a great investment. Today, the properties have increased in value dramatically. Let me just tell you that in the last 5 years, these properties have gone from $50,000 to $150,000. They've increased in value $100,000 by sitting on these properties just for 5 years. Now, let me tell you what that's done for Chuck and Suzanne and Cassie and ultimately with Cheyenne. The increase in value gave them equity that they did not have to pay for. While they were living in these units and paying mortgage payments, the increase in value in these units were going up so fast that they didn't even realize it, and none of us really realized what was happening, and all of a sudden, these units now have made them at least $100,000. Now, if you can imagine buying a place to live, living in it for 5 years, have it go up for $100,000, while in fact you're reducing the mortgage. Now, if you take the accelerated payment plan, which we're going to teach you about, and you would power down that debt, that unit could be paid for in 10 years, and you literally would have $150,000 plus the increase over the next 5 years. You probably will have a $200,000 or $250,000 equity in a property that didn't cost you one penny. Now, if you can imagine that, of course, they've moved out and moved on to bigger and better things, and today the units are being rented out, and so the tenant is paying the mortgage payments on the unit, and the units are going up in value so fast that it's incredible. Now we wonder why we didn't buy 10 or 15 of these units when they were available. So we can all learn from the experiences that we've had over the years, and I want to continue to share that with you, and I'll give you some more examples as we go. You're in my home, my wife's home, Joyce and I, and next door to our house is a house that Cheyenne bought, and she's the youngest daughter. Whenever we bought this house about 3 years ago, Cheyenne bought that house for some $48,000 and spent another $20,000 on it. Ended up with a $75,000 mortgage on it, but the property appraised for $110,000. She just had it reappraised. It just appraised for $218,000. These are astounding numbers. Now, I just want to share this with you because this is not unique that's happening with us. It's happening in this area dramatically. Now, the market in your area is easy to determine, and the investments and the type of investments that you should make is very easy to determine. Where you should buy, where you should hold, where you should sell is a very easy thing to determine. And we're going to teach you more about marketability, and how to determine that, about how to find properties to buy, how to find the money to purchase them with, even though you may not have any money or you may not have good credit. We're going to teach you how to do all these things. So right now, I just want you to be able to see this for yourself. Now, so one of the things that I want you to do is understand that this works for you. Now, let me ask you, give you an example of my question for you. If you could see yourself over the next 10 years developing something that would last for you for the rest of your life, and that you could pass along to your future generations, do you think that would break the spirit of poverty off of your family? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. My family was in dire poverty whenever we were young. My mom and dad worked and did everything they possibly could to give us the best quality of life that they knew how to do. In the process of this, along the way, about 35 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, Mom and Dad bought a lot on the St. Johns River. They bought that lot for $2,000. Today, the lot's worth $200,000. And now, they're going to pass that along to the future generations. She bought a house in North Carolina in the mountains. My mom did this while working as a real estate agent. And of course, the house where she lives, the home that she currently lives in, I think she paid about $60,000 for it. And today it's worth $250,000. Now, that's inflation working for us instead of against us. So today I want you to believe that you can do this. If you or anybody else have ever bought and owned a home, and you have kept that house for a few years, and if you haven't sold it, you're experiencing an increase in the growth of the value of that house. Now, if you did sell it, somebody else is experiencing the increase in growth and benefiting from the experience of the increase in growth of that property. So I want you to just think with me. Think about it. 1965, when I started in the real estate business, the typical average house that we sold from $10,000 to $20,000. $50,000 was an outrageous price for a house then. You could buy the best waterfront property in Saint Augustine for $50,000 or less. So now those houses are selling for $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $1 million. Down at Crescent Beach, Florida, which is south of Saint Augustine, some of the most beautiful oceanfront property in the world. The lots were real deep. Some of them 600 or 700 feet deep. They went from the ocean out to A1A, across A1A to the Intercoastal Waterway, and those lots sold for $8,500. There were a tremendous number of them for sale. You could buy all of them you wanted for $8,000, $8,500, and today they are worth over $1 million. So one $8,500 investment in 1965 or 66 or long in there would have made you a millionaire today. We didn't have a clue that was going to happen, and we didn't have $8,500 to start with. But the fact is that we probably could have found it had we had the training and the knowledge that we have today. Now, I'm going to introduce you to my book while you're here, and I want you to see something that we did. We wrote this book, and I relate to you one of the stories early on in the book And that was about a house that we bought for $4,000. A young salesman working with me, and we were great friends. We grew up together, and I bought this house. We painted it and fixed it up, and we sold it for $8,000. The principles that we were taught early on, the 3% down FHA deal, if you can imagine buying a house for $250, or being able to sell a house for $250 down, and the payments being $40 or $50 a month, including taxes and insurance, was an incredible thing. But let me tell you what, folks, I've sold that same house 4 or 5 times over the last 8 years. Suppose I'd have kept that house then. Suppose we'd have kept it. What would it be worth today? Today it'd be worth $150,000, $200,000. The tenants would have paid for it over and over and over and over. The positive cash flow out of that house would have provided us with a substantial positive cash flow. We could have borrowed against the house. We could have used it for collateral over and over and over and over. And they're telling how many houses that we could have bought from the original purchase of that one house. Now that's what I want you to see yourself. No matter what your income limitations are, or exactly where you stand today. If you own your own house and you can use it for collateral to buy the next one, if you've already maximized the collateral out of it, don't worry about it, because we're going to teach you how to buy some more and how to get them paid for in 10 years. So I want you to see this today as a blessing. And if you can see this as a blessing for you and your family, then we're going to move forward here, because we're going to talk about a plan. We're going to talk about what it takes to be successful in this business, and we're going to help you be successful in this business because we know how to do it. You know, and that's. Let me just tell you this: I've been in the business, as I said, 38 years. We have bought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses over the last 38 years. We have sold and built hundreds of houses. We've developed many, many subdivisions and sold many lots over the years. The first subdivision I did, 1967 or 8, I sold lots for $1,000 a piece, acre lots. The same lots today are selling for $40,000 or $50,000 a piece. So everybody that's bought lots over the years that kept them has enjoyed incredible growth. So real estate is a good investment. Buying residential real estate is, in my opinion, the best investment, because the tenants can help you pay for it. And in most cases, they'll pay 100% and give you a positive cash flow. And so this really doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that it's easier to generate income through a system like this than it is working day to day like we always do. So I'm not encouraging you to give up your job yet. We want to see your income grow, and then one day you'll be glad to give it up, we think. Now, one of the things that this takes is discipline. Most of us don't have any financial discipline. Discipline is the key to this entire thing. One of the things that most of us don't have, and we never were taught, and that was to have the discipline necessary to be financially successful. So we're going to have to talk about that a lot, because it's going to have to change. We're going to have to change our mindset. We're going to have to do things better and differently than most of us have ever done. Just to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Suppose that when you first started out working for anybody, that you would have saved 10% of every dollar that you ever made. Do you realize today, no matter how many years that's been, like in my case, that you would be a multi-gillionaire by now if you've been in the business, or if you've lived and worked as long as I have. Let me give you an example of something I read recently, and I'm not sure if it's true or not, but we certainly are going to give it a test. Said that if you put $2,000 in an account that earned 10% interest, or the equivalent thereof, for a period of 59 years, that you would be a millionaire. So when we take one of our babies and we put $2,000 in their account, and we work diligently to invest that money so that they can earn at least a 10% return on their investment, that all of a sudden these children are going to be millionaires at age 59. Now suppose that you put $10,000 in there. What would that be all about? How would that work? Okay, so there are multiple investment strategies that are important for the future of your financial responsibilities, like your children and grandchildren and so forth. So let's decide today that we're going to have the discipline to make this program work. First of all, we have to buy 10 houses. We have to pay for them in 10 years. Now, what does that mean? Here's what it means. It means that we're going to develop the discipline to take the extra income that these properties develop and create, and we're going to power down the debt so that we can have the property's paid off in 10 years. Now, let me give you an ideal circumstance. If you bought a house and you took over a mortgage, and the mortgage was a 30-year loan, but it had been paid on 20 years, and so when you took it over, there was only 10 years left on the mortgage, and that the income flow off of the mortgage, off the rent payments, would pay for that property and give you a positive cash flow, that would be ideal circumstances. When we say positive cash flow, we mean that the principal and the interest and the taxes and the insurance and the maintenance and all those things are covered, condo fees or any other extraneous fees that may be relative to one of the properties that you have. That would be ideal. If you bought 10 properties that way, they would pay out in 10 years, and you wouldn't have to worry about what we call powering down the debt, which is a rapid debt reducing program. Now, buying properties like that would probably require that you make a big down payment, so that's not going to be the easiest ones to find, but we do find them. So sometimes we find properties that's been paid on 10 years. Sometimes it was only a 15-year mortgage to start with, and they've been paid on 5 years. So there are a lot of 10-year mortgages or less out there. So those are ideal. But ideally, what you're going to run into, the most logical things that you're going to find on a consistent basis are properties that have 25-year loans on them, 28-year loans on them, 30-year loans on them. And the strategy is to buy these properties that provide good positive cash flows in good areas and do it so that they provide a positive cash flow that you can use to power down the debt. Now, here's the easy thing to do with the money, is to spend it. That's the easiest thing to do. It's harder to make than it is to spend, and I'm a living testament to that. So if you spend all the extra money, there won't be any money to power down the debts. So when you pay 10 years on a 30-year loan, you're still going to owe 20 years. So you have got to develop the discipline that will allow you to do this. And now I believe that we're going to do it because we can see that by developing the plan and accumulating the discipline necessary to work the plan, we're going to do something that has never, ever been done on a consistent basis before. And I've never heard this taught in my years in real estate, and I'm a past president of our board of realtors. I have never been to a convention. I have never been anywhere in the real estate industry and had anybody ever stand up and teach us that if you'll buy 10 houses and pay for them in 10 years, you can retire with a $10,000 a month income, and here's how you do it. You know, I have never heard anybody make those statements and then back that up with a blueprint for your success, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today, folks. We're introducing you to an incredible program, something that I believe that you're going to truly love. Just go with me for a minute. I went to work in business, as I told you, in 1965, but I had a job since I was 15 years old. Now I'm 62 years old, and all of a sudden Social Security is available to me. The fact is that I've worked for 40-some years, 50 years, and the return on that investment is, I think, about $1,000, $1,100 a month or something similar to that. And so I don't want you to do the same thing unless you're in the same position I am. I don't want you to do that. I want you to see a brighter future for yourself. I want you to be able to take trips out west, travel all over the country. I believe the good Lord gave us a wonderful world to live in. Most people never get the chance to really see it because they didn't have the discipline and they didn't have the plan that's necessary to do it. I want you to see this as clear as you possibly can see it for yourself. I want you just to visualize yourself being on a cruise ship and taking your whole family, being able to underwrite that, write a check for it, take the whole family. Don't leave anybody behind regardless of the circumstances. I want you to be able to see the opportunity for you to take the trips and do the things and have the house and the cars or whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe it's you want to do something for your church. Maybe you want to help the poor. Whatever you want to do, if you had more money and more time, what would you do with it? That's the program. That's the plan. It doesn't do any good just to have money. You have to have the time. It doesn't do any good just to have the time unless you have the money to do it with. So what we're going to talk to you about a lot is finding the time and the money at the same time so that you really can enjoy this wonderful gift of life that God has given us. And I want you to really be big on that. So let's think about that. What kind of a plan do you need? Let's say that you say, well, $10,000 a month is more than I need and I'm not willing to work that hard. That's okay with me. It's $1,000 a month. It's okay with me. When you retire from your job, if you got to replace a $2,000 a month income, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter to me. It's all part of your plan and you developing the discipline to follow through on your plan. So we're going to help you develop a plan. We're going to become your real estate mentors. We're going to teach you and train you and help you become the success that you want to be. Now, let me just give an example, a little of what I'm talking about. You're not going to keep every property you buy. We don't want you to. We want you to buy and sell as many properties as you possibly can. And when you pick that one house that you're going to keep, all of a sudden you take that one house and you put it under the little incubator over here. It's almost like a little egg, and you're going to hatch that egg and you're going to watch it grow. And you're over here buying and selling and buying and selling. And all of a sudden you find another little egg, and you're going to grab that egg and you're going to put it in the incubator and watch it grow. It's going to hatch. So that you're building your program, and it's not costing you money to build this program. That you actually have a real estate investment business that's going on every day, and you're taking the proceeds of that and you're living and doing whatever you want to do. And in addition to that, maybe you're supplementing your current income, maybe you're living in the business full time, whatever you choose to do. Now all of a sudden it's about choices, because you had the discipline not to throw the money away and not to spend the money. Now, if you are struggling financially and you want to change your whole financial life, the 10-10 plan fits in on a longer term program. Now, here's what you got to do: is you got to attack your debt structure, and we're going to talk to you more about that. But I want you today to address the issues of your personal financial circumstance. And our book is called "Where Are You Now?" The title of the book is exactly the question that we have to ask ourselves, so that we understand where we are and why we are in the position we're in. Where do we want to be 5 years from now, and what vehicle do we have to get there? Now, I'm suggesting to you real estate investment. I believe it's the best. I'm also recommending to you to get your real estate license and become a real estate agent and make real estate commissions as well as real estate investments. Here's what happens to realtors. We're out there every day listing properties, looking at properties on a continuous basis. And what happens is all of a sudden we find something that we want to buy. It could be one of those little nest eggs I was talking to you about, or it could be one of the things that you buy and you sell. We believe that if you'll become comfortable in the real estate business, and let me just tell you this, you have a lot to learn, but that's a good thing. Understanding that you have a lot to learn and that you have the mentorship available to you to tap you into a source of training and education that's second to none in the whole industry. I believe that we have the very best training program in the whole industry. So, and that's built over years and years of experiences, as I've been talking to you about. Now, here's something that just defeated me for years in the real estate business as far as buying property long term. I couldn't stand dealing with the tenants. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever made that statement? I don't want any rental property because I don't want to deal with the tenants. Get over it. Get over that. That is ridiculous. That has cost me millions of dollars, making a statement that I don't want to deal with the tenants. Maybe I don't want to deal with the tenants, and maybe I don't do it very well. And I don't do it very well, frankly. But there are many good management companies that will take these properties, manage them properly, and send you a check. So it doesn't matter where you are. You get 10 properties, you get them paid for, you get 10 checks a month, or you get one consolidated check a month. That check can be deposited in your account. It can be shipped to your mailbox. You can be anywhere in the world. You have done something that 99% of the people in America have not done. You have created a residual income. The only residual income most people create is their Social Security check or some minor retirement income, and that is their residual income that they've worked for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, or whatever. Then all of a sudden, it's not enough to live on by the time you get it. So if you haven't built that nest egg, then I'm asking you to have the discipline to do it. And let's develop your plan. You develop the discipline, we'll develop the plan. You'll be a multimillionaire in a matter of a few years. Anybody can do this, and we're going to explain more to you about how it works. So, in looking at my little grandbabies, I realized something that recently that was just incredible. We now can send our children anywhere in the world to college. If you'll start early on in your child or grandchild's life, you can be instrumental in sending that child anywhere. Let me give you something. Why is George Bush the President of the United States today? Why did Al Gore almost become President of the United States? Why in the world were they the chosen ones? That even in their own mind could dream of the fact that they could be president of the United States and then go out and put together the campaign necessary to do it. Let me tell you what it was. Their parents planted the seeds of greatness in their minds when they were young, and they backed that up by supplying them with an education from one of the Ivy League schools, which I'm not saying everybody should go to the Ivy League schools, but that allowed them to believe. They grew up believing that they could be president of the United States and that they would be president of the United States. George Bush, of course, he grew up, his dad was president. Al Gore's dad was a senator. And so they grew up believing that, and they went and got the education at the Ivy League schools, which allowed that to happen. I saw something on television the other day that just kind of intrigued me. It said that the average cost of tuition for Harvard University was about, I believe it said $38,000 a year, and it was going up like 5%. So when I thought about that, you know, if you multiply that times 4, you're talking about $160,000 a year to send your kids to Harvard, and then you, of course, the tuition and all the other costs that go along with that. So maybe it's $250,000, maybe it's $300,000 over 4 years to send your kid to college at one of those schools. Now, in most people's lives, that's not in the cards. They can't afford it. They didn't plan for it, and they can't afford to send the kids to those kind of schools. So we limit their ability to maybe be president of the United States if they wanted to. I'm not suggesting we can't have but one president at a time, obviously. But suppose that we planted those seeds of greatness and we backed that up with an investment program that would set our children free. And I'm not talking about making them spoiled brats. I'm talking about giving them an opportunity to take whatever seeds you plant and grow that into a full-blown harvest on their own. I don't want to give kids anything when they get 20 years old to hand them a house and say, here, kid, go do whatever you want to do with it, because they'll go sell it and spend the money, most of them, unless we have taught them the discipline that goes along with it. Now, if you take that little baby when they're 2 years old and you teach them that out of every dollar they get, that they have to take a dime and put it in their piggy bank, and you're going to take that to the bank for them, and you're going to deposit that, so as soon as they learn how to talk, they know that they have a bank account, they know that they have some investments, they know that they have something working for them because mom and dad have had the discipline for them to do that so that they could have the education that you want them to have in the future, or the opportunity for that education. Now, George Bush is President of the United States today because he had the opportunity, because his family planted the right seed. Whether you like his presidency or not is not the question. The issue is that he's there, and Al Gore almost was president of the United States. And one of them went to Harvard, and one of them went to Yale, or some of those schools. Now, I'm only planting a seed for you because I want you to see what this business can do for your children and your families and your future generations. And to me, when I got that down in my spirit, I realized how powerful that really was. Let me give you an example. You can send your kids to college absolutely free. Let me tell you what happened. Cassie recently bought a house. She is daughter number 3. She and her husband Wayne bought a house, and they got a little baby named Ronnie. She's 10 months old. And when Cassie got to buying the house, she and Wayne closed on it, and I was talking to Cass. I said, Cass, congratulations on purchasing that house. I think that was a great idea, and I'm mighty proud that y'all did that. She said, Dad, that's Ronnie's house. I said, fantastic. She said, that is going to be Ronnie's house. When Ronnie gets big enough, she can live in the house, but also, Dad, that house will send Ronnie to college. That house is going to be worth so much money in the next 18 years while Ronnie's growing up, and before she goes to college, her house is going to be free and clear, and we can use the equity in that house. We can borrow the money against that house and use the equity in that house virtually tax-free so that she can have the money to go to any college she wants to. So let's say the house is a $150,000 house, and it goes up 5% a year over the next 18 years. It's going to go up 90%. If that's the case, then it's no longer a $150,000 house, it's a $300,000 house. But the cost of going to one of these colleges is also increasing, so guess what? We have hedged the bet for our children. Now, Cassie and Wayne have hedged the bet for Ronnie by making that investment in that house. Now, that's not the only house that they probably will buy and invest in for Ronnie. And for their own futures, for their own retirement, and to be able to pass along to future generations. But to think that we can plant those seeds and we can start our children to think that way in our future and our grandchildren. Hey, you grandparents, do it for your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. It doesn't make any difference. Get started somewhere and do it. Now, The values of real estate in this county have increased over the last 35 years astronomically, unbelievably. And we've only started. We haven't seen anything yet. What's going to happen in the next 20 years is going to be more than has happened in this county in the last 100 years, if you can imagine. And I believe in the next 5 years we're going to experience some incredible things. So I want you to see the power of this system to be able to provide an education for your children and something long-term for yourself. I am so excited about this. Now, if you have another child, buy another house. If you want them to have more than that, buy more than one house. It doesn't make any difference. When you find out that you can buy a house for no money down, you can buy a house with no credit, and you can take this property and put it in a trust for your children. You can take your property and keep it for yourself. You can do some of both. You can break the spirit of poverty off of your life. You can do incredible things in this business, and I want you to do that. And I want you to start thinking about that with me today. Now, just remember, my little grandson, little Christian, he's 2 years old. My goal as a grandpa is to encourage him to save 10% of what he makes. Listen, way back in my career, I was so angry at the bankers because I would go to the bank and I would ask the bank, banker, loan me this much money. I need this much money. I want to develop this subdivision. And they would say to me, Terry, your loan to value, your loan to debt is too high. You owe too much, and you don't have enough liquidity. If you would save 10% of your net worth, if you would have that in liquid assets, we'd be able to do about anything you wanted to do. But we can't do that because if you have one little stumble, you're going to get hurt financially very bad. And so you're going to have to change what you do, and you're going to have to develop the discipline. I did not take that advice. I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard in my whole life, to have some banker that made a whole lot less than I did sit across the desk and tell me, of all people, that I needed to listen to him and develop a plan. Folks, I went to this banker in the last 2 or 3 years and apologized to him and thanked him for giving me advice, even though I didn't heed his warning and his advice. And so consequently in my career, I had many ups and downs because, you see, I didn't have the discipline, and I certainly didn't have the education, and I was out here educating myself, and the only way I knew to educate myself was make mistakes, and I made one mistake after the other, after the other, after the other. And now what I'm saying to you folks is you don't have to do that. You can plug into our system. This 10-10 system is the most wonderful thing I've ever seen. If you buy 10 houses, pay for them in 10 years, retire with a $10,000 a month income, or don't retire, it doesn't matter to me. If you're young, and it's like my family, my children, and you accomplish these goals, buy 20 houses, have $20,000 a month income, buy 30, buy 50, buy an unlimited number, and have an unlimited income. And that's what this business will do for you. And the more you do, the easier it gets. The more you learn how to buy them, the easier it gets. And that's why this system is so fantastic. Now think about it. Little baby's born, grandbaby, a stranger. That's my next goal, is to go out and find strangers and people that really need some financial consulting, and be able to sit down with them and help them develop a plan of how they can own their own home. I don't care if they filed bankruptcy yesterday, they can still own their own home. Now, if we can convince a person that you can own your own home regardless of your circumstances, if you will change what you do and how you do it, you can become a success in this business. Let me tell you what the past is for. The past was a training ground. It was just a proving ground. It was a learning experience. But we can't live in the past. I had somebody tell me, I'd trade all my tomorrows for just one yesterday. Listen, I trade all my yesterdays for just one tomorrow myself. I want to move on with this life. Life is wonderful, and we've been blessed, and you're blessed no matter what your circumstances are. As soon as you address the issues in your life and make up your mind to take from where you are now and be fair and honest about where you are and make a decision about what you want to do in your future, you can do it. And that's why I love this program so much. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you about is a cliche that I believe is real. If you'll find your why, you'll find your way. Not long ago, I was riding along the highway, and I thought, my goodness, after a while, sometimes I get tired of this. And I was having a pity party, I guess, or a bad day, and I thought, my goodness, why don't I quit doing this? And I looked up on the sun visor of my truck, and there was the pictures of my grandbabies, and I said, that is my why. I will do this business for them. I am committed to doing this business for my grandchildren. I am working every day helping develop something that I think will make their futures better. Now, you as parents, grandparents, or friends, whatever the case may be, you can do the same thing that we have done, and I want you to do that with me. So today, I want you to make a commitment that you will join us up in the 10-10 plan, that you'll take every opportunity to plug into every bit of training that we have. You will take our advice and our counsel. You will visit with us every chance you get. Give us the opportunity to share with you, to be your mentors, and you be our mentors. You know things that we don't know, and we're willing to learn. We're in a learning cycle in our lives. We're going through tremendous change, and we believe that things are going to be better for you and for us. So in getting there in this program and understanding that if you start, and we start immediately buying houses, and you learn how to do it. Now, you have to learn how to do this properly. And if you'll do this the way we teach you, and you come take the training through our PDP system, it's incredible training. We'll teach you exactly how to buy the houses, or how to find the houses, how to analyze the house, how to buy the house, how to fix the house, how to sell the house, or how to rent the house, whichever you choose to do. But believe me, this business will set you free, and it'll do it now. So you have to make the commitment and have the discipline and have the education. So if you expect your grandchild or great-grandchild or whoever to acquire great future education, and you're going to make a plan to help them do that, then you must practice what you preach, and you must get the education necessary to do that. If you understand this business and learn this business like we have, and you don't have to take 30 years or 38 years in my case to learn to do it, you can do it now, then that's a huge statement. I just can't even believe that the lives that we're going to touch and that you're going to touch, the man that trained me in the real estate business, Mr. Overby, the lives that we've touched. I've trained over 1,000 real estate agents in my career. And can you imagine how many people I've taught how to do an FHA deal, how to buy a house VA, or how to sell a house VA, and how that kept us all in business, how we made a living doing it, how I went from using these hands as a diesel engine mechanic to being able to live in this business on a daily basis and make more money than I could using my hands. That is what I want for you. So as we close out this one of these sections here, I want to go back and remind you to find your way, okay? You see, as I said, that's what I really want for you. If we can help you find your why, you'll find your way. The story about me riding down the highway and being real negative that one day, which doesn't happen to me very often, and I look up at those little faces and they're so cute and they're looking at their grandpa, and Papa's thinking, my goodness gracious sakes alive, that is my why. That is my whole reason for doing this. And if that's the case, then we can always find our way. So the opportunities are here. We just have to find a reason for doing it. If you have a reason for doing it, you will do it, and that's what we're doing. So we're going to do this together. As we close out this tape, I want you to know that I appreciate the fact that you've listened to this for the last 45 minutes or so, and that we are now becoming a team. We're getting acquainted, and we're looking to the future, and we're going to build your plan, and we're working on it diligently. We're going to examine the issues and our shortcomings, each and every one of us, and we're going to do a better job. We're going to become more deliberate in our future, and we're going to benefit from this training tremendously. It's a matter of fact that nobody's going to do this for us. We have to do it ourselves. But when we can literally plug into a family that's already doing it, we do it every day. We're in the business every day. And that we can help you reach your goals as we also reach our goals. We can help you reach the goals for your children and your grandchildren while we're doing the same thing, you see. So we have a lot in common. We have basically the same why, and now we also have the way. And this is our vehicle. My vehicle is real estate. That's all I really know anything about. Every time I venture out of real estate, I get burned. So I'm in real estate business, and I'm going to stay there for the rest of my life. And I'm going to pass this along to my children, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what we're all about. And I hope that this side of this tape has blessed you in some special way, and I want to encourage you to stay there with me, and as we go through this training, and I want you to listen to this tape over and over and over, And I want you to become excited about it, because if you will become excited about it and you will not waver, you will find out that you do have the discipline to do this. And now all you need is the training, and we're off and running, and we're going to have a life-changing experience together. And I just thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tape.